prepared yet.
You need to try and pick off the units as. Look at the shields on the mark.
Oh my god, the ball is going to take him.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shakuras Plateau. It's going to be the venue for today's encounter between GoOdy. Yes, GoOdy in the purple trunks, he is playing Terran, versus Strelok in the blue trunks, he is also playing Terran.
And do not get confused by Strelok's team. Even though it's Imba FXO Gaming, it is not the same gaming team that has been in Korea for the GSTL. It is the other one called Imbalance FXO Gaming. Two different teams, two different divisions. So do not get confused by that. But Strelok is the same guy. He is the same Ukrainian star that we see over and over and over in every online tournament, every offline tournament. Even though he never posts results, he's just that guy that's always in your way.
Yeah, and if you remember a little while ago, folks, he actually posted some monstrous results in the NASL, winning almost every group game.
Yeah, that's actually the surprise. The last few months, Strelok has really turned things around. I think he's really started to practice a lot more. And he's been playing very well recently. And on the other hand, GoOdy is GoOdy. About 3-4 months ago, I suppose, this guy was unbeatable TVT. And in Europe, he was the best TVT player, never lost a single game. And people were afraid to play him. They actually didn't want to play a best of 3, best of 5 against GoOdy. And they were dreading it. And I'd love to have that. Somebody come up to me and be like, I hate playing best of 5s versus you. But it's the other way around usually. People love playing best of 3s, best of 5s versus my Terran.
Yes, now GoOdy is actually one of the top Grandmaster players in Europe and has been for a very, very long time. So that's something to be scared of in and of itself. GoOdy's style is heavily defensive and it's very, very patient. He engages in a grinding war of attrition using heavy tanks, Hellions and Thors. He has been known to go mass Banshee every now and again, although not to the same degree of success.
Yeah, and I probably would guess that TVT is his best matchup. And even though he's a very good player, he's probably not the best in Germany. Because of players like Soke and Hazuobs, and because they play Protoss too, that is GoOdy's weakest matchup.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to be top in a country where you have awesome Protoss players like that. But nevertheless, this is a TVT on Securus versus Strelok. So will GoOdy be able to pull through? And we do have Strelok going for a pretty much standard factory build, while we have GoOdy going for a Marauder opening.
Interesting. We don't see Marauders all that much in TVT, if I'm totally honest. Why is that?
Well, it's just a lot easier to spend your gas, and it's easier for you if you spend your gas on tanks, and you don't really want to build Marauders. You do see Marauders come into the game a lot later on, as just basically to flank tanks and so on, snipe them out of position, because they do kill tanks very fast. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does open up with this Marauder. We do see options like Marauder Expand or something in different matchups, but I think the way that GoOdy's going to play it is with this Marauder, he's just going to put pressure on, and it looks like some kind of 2 racks pressure with Marauders and a few Marines, but indeed it's just going to be a Marauder fake pressure into Reaper, into Expand.
Sneaky moves. And GoOdy is not known for his deception, I've got to say. He is very much a brute force player, but in this case, that's going to throw Strelok off quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's building a bunker now on that ramp because of it. So nice opening, actually. Nice opening by GoOdy.
Yeah, it's good. And the expansion coming down right here. And, of course, the Reaper is not expected, honestly. I can't remember a time when I've actually seen GoOdy build a Reaper, so this is an intriguing maneuver.
Yeah, it's used a lot in a lot of different matchups. GoOdy normally uses it in TVZ sometimes to open up with a Reaper bunker style, but in this matchup, never really. So we'll have to see how he does. And at the same time, we do have Strelok going for a Banshee. Does not have the second gas. That means he will not be able to get Cloak anytime soon. And we'll have to see, does he go for another Banshee after this, or will he switch over to Factory? And Marauder did pressure a little bit on the front door, and now is retreating. And Reaper controls the middle Zelnoga town, not yet popping into the base.
Yeah, he's not too concerned about that at the moment. He's got a nice and secure expansion. Admittedly, he's going to have to work on an engineering bay fairly shortly if he wants to deal with that Banshee, or, of course, get enough Marines. He has neither at the moment, which could prove to be problematic.
And GoOdy taking a second gas now is going to be switching up the tech lab and putting that onto his factory. Hellion does scout the Reaper in the middle of the map, though. He's got to be careful, as a Reaper will be a Hellion. It's fire resistant.
Yes, I mean, it really comes down to the fact that a Hellion in a single target fight is pretty rubbish. And honestly, a Reaper does a lot of damage to light targets. It's actually 9 per shot, and he shoots 2 at once. So the Hellion is ineffective, and he pounces, and he almost grabs it. He is after that one, I can tell you. And Strelok now does have that Banshee. It's rolling across the field. He's then following it up with a Viking.
So we have two Marines in this bunker. Are going to get damage on the Marines straight away. And taking unnecessary damage, to be honest. In orange health already. And doesn't have Cloak, though. Doesn't have Cloak in production. Gone to a Viking straight after that. Will deny the starport. Really nice play. And we'll be able to get a lot of SCVs here. There's only 2 Marines to defend. Yeah,
that's not what I'd call ideal, honestly. And even without the Cloak, he is doing great damage. That's 4. So slowing up the starport and already now getting 6 kills on GoOdy. And now looking for 7 as well. That's great. I mean, that's paid for itself, surely.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Most definitely. 7 kills now. 8 kills. Going to get another SCV. Could even pick off the tank after that 1 Marine. It's got to be careful,
wow.
though.
This is good micro, actually, from Strelok, who initially made some mistakes. It's still alive! Unbelievably, 11 kills right now. It surely will not lose the tank.
I don't know. Can I get to the turret in time?
Oh, ouch. That had to hurt. Strelok with one of the most heroic Banshees I've seen since Show, in fact, who is known for those kind of things. He takes a mule as well. This is absurd.
Wow, 14 kills now from this Banshee. Viking comes out and says, no more of that, thank you.
Good lord, that was incredibly effective.
And great, because he's got his own expansion up now. If he hadn't have done damage with it, he would have fallen behind because GoOdy did go for that fast expansion build. Unit tab now, 28 SCVs still for GoOdy versus 25. So the economy leads slightly in favor of GoOdy still, but Strelok will be able to catch up soon. He has tank production, he has better tech. And he could, as the siege tech is not so far away from completion, could go for some kind of push, some kind of containment. We'll have to see what Strelok decides to do here.
We will find out very shortly. Strelok is doing extremely well in that regard. His harassment's actually been fairly legendary for a very long time, and he was known for early tank drops before anyone was really doing it, and he was also known for big tank elevation plays on maps like, say, Metalopolis, where he was able to bring tanks up and down, up and down. He used it against Protoss, he used it in TBT as well. It works very, very well indeed, and in this case, it looks like his harassment skills have not decreased. That Banshee was a epic Banshee, 14 kills, really, really great. And as you said, looking for some containment action. He does have a medevac, so we could see some of that trademark elevation play.
And indeed he is. He's going to go down here, and there's only really 1 tank defending, so he could do a lot of damage here, potentially killing off GoOdy. Though the Marine placement when they come out of that medevac was not the best.
No, it really wasn't, but note this historic moment, folks. GoOdy 10 minutes in the game with only 1 tank. That is very, very rare indeed. And Strelok with 2 now, rolling them into the base, and here comes the damage. Taking a bit of shelling from the side, needs to move. A little bit sloppy there from Strelok. He could have avoided that tank shelling by just moving a few inches to the left, but there you go. And there's the tank drop and swap, which is what's happening right now, and Strelok looking to get into the minimal line.
Indeed, if you can see up here, get a good position. He has got the tank on the lower ground to help defend here.
My.
Great position by Strelok here.
It's looking good. Yeah, he needs to keep that alive, and he doesn't. GoOdy with a good defense right there, thanks to the repairs of that SCV. So he did deny mining for a long time, though, so there's really nothing wrong with what he did.
But guess what? Total biscuit.
He's expanding, the Apollo. Why would he do such a thing?
Well, he's done such great harassment. He's forced GoOdy into some defensive style, defensive position, that he's more than able to go ahead and just expand, take his advantage a little bit further. And great play, I think. It's 78 food for Strelok now versus 62 supply cap food for GoOdy.
Yeah, I've got to say, though, forcing GoOdy into a defensive style is more like forcing a fish to swim. It's not exactly what I'd call an uncomfortable position for GoOdy. GoOdy is more than capable of dealing with that without any problems at all. And you can see right there that his SCV count is getting back into where he wants it to be. He is supply block. My God, he queues a lot.
Well, he got supply block really badly. He's stuck at 62 for a very, very long time, actually. And that's pretty much cost him so much. I mean, in resources, in army, and everything. 89 food for Strelok versus 62. That should not be 62. That should be like 80-ish by now. So crucial mistake there by GoOdy.
Yep, this could prove to be problematic as Strelok rolls out. I mean, he doesn't have a huge amount of upgrades on those Marines just yet, but he's certainly looking for it in the not-too-distant future. GoOdy has the armory coming up, so we can expect to see upgrades and, of course, Thor play coming in. He does love them Thors.
Indeed, he does, and now it looks like a big drop coming in. Well, will be coming from the back. And Strelok containing GoOdy at the moment inside his base, and this drop could prove very damageful. I mean, there are a couple of turrets, though, so he's going to have to be careful with the placement of this, but we'll see where he's going to put them.
I mean, he could actually start working his way through the back rocks, which would prove to be very risky. Of course, this IGN version of the map does have the back rocks, so that always has to be taken into account when thinking about your strategy. He's able to outflank the corner missile turret, but still, he's going to have to be very careful. There is actually a vulnerable point up to the top right of the base right there. If Strelok is able to realize that, he's going to gain some great drop potential. He's actually sent one in, that's suicidal, so he throws that one away, but there is certainly the possibility there. And in the meantime, an engagement as GoOdy decides he's not having any of this and demolishes the remainder of Strelok's army.
Very nice play. Did have to pull the SCVs off his mirror line though, and where did that second medivac go?
It is actually vanished.
Oh, there it is, in top right.
There we go. Into the Twilight Zone it goes. We will never see it again. Those of you who are not aware, in fact, Shkuras Plateau has its own version of the Bermuda Triangle, so it's a little terrifying. Strelok needs to be careful with these drops again. With his defense, GoOdy's always fantastic when it comes to his missile turret placement, so Strelok is sorely underestimating him there, I feel. Admittedly, he's able to drive away that entire mineral line, so nothing wrong with that.
And containment now from GoOdy, though Strelok's +1 finishes for his Marines now. Should be able to defend against it, especially with some good spread from these Marines. But GoOdy setting up a nice containment with turrets as well. It's going to stop any Vikings. And Hellion as well on the third base, doing a little bit of damage.
Oh dear!
Got 4 kills.
Strelok throwing away a huge amount of units right there, and he doesn't even have a great follow-up, honestly. He's got Marines coming in, but this should be defended by GoOdy.
Yeah, wow, losing a lot there. Now, GoOdy has the advantage, 100 food versus 87. Hellion has 7 kills now, gets us around with all the SCVs on this third base, and Hellion does finally go down, 8 kills on that, but another Hellion is coming in.
My, oh my. GoOdy's mech style. We know it. We love it. For the most part. And GoOdy is camping outside his opponent's base, and he is really stocking up on those Hellions right now, and he's doing great damage with them too. Infernal Pre-Ignited, follow that one up. And
looks like Strelok's had enough of this. He's going to try and push through. He has a lot of tanks, a lot of Marines here, but will he be able to crack this defensive GoOdy? The tank line is so smooth and so spread out, it's going to be very hard to do anything.
Crack the defensive GoOdy. Yeah, that sounds expensive. I wouldn't want to try doing that anytime soon. Admittedly, he does have a Viking in the field, which will help, and GoOdy has one too, but it depends which one goes down first. That missile turret may help out. Of course, the superior range of the Viking will help Strelok an awful lot. This is a quad tank drop right now. This is interesting. He wants to try and take out those Hellions, and dropping 4 tanks to make that happen. He also actually gets good position, because GoOdy could get flanked right here. If he's able to, if he loses that Viking, this is going to be problematic.
Indeed, a nice position from Strelok, actually regaining his third base that he lost for so long. And look at GoOdy using all these Hellions are going to tank up so much damage, and they're so good with Blue Flame against Marines as well. And I feel that GoOdy has the army advantage, but Strelok has the position advantage right now.
Yeah, and that's crucial in these tank wars. It really is. GoOdy's stuck on the low ground. He loses 1 missile turret, so his flank is vulnerable to any kind of Viking scouting. Of course, trying to get that vision right there. We're still looking for Strelok to actually get aggressive with these drops, but that's not happening. GoOdy is able to go after that medevac, and of course, there's no defense on the ground to deal with that. The Marines sort of moving in right now, and they are very, very slightly out of range. Strelok's judgment there is exceptional. Admittedly, if they can push forward any further, they're going to be in big trouble. GoOdy now deciding to redeploy those tanks, falling back slightly, so Strelok has a little bit more room to maneuver. Yeah,
Strelok's got the Viking lead for now, and is going to kill the Viking. But in the meantime, is going to drop 3 Marines in the bottom right-hand side, and is going to check for the third base, do a little bit of harassment if there is anything there. Nothing there yet. The third base is up for GoOdy, but inside his main, so a long way from mining yet. And Strelok is mining from his third base once again, so he's going to have the economic lead, and now has the supply lead. Transfer of SCVs, though. Oh, my God.
Wow. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Why would you do that? Strelok believing... why did he do that? I mean, he must have known about those tanks. Actually, if you look at the patrol pattern of those Vikings, it was slightly out of range, so maybe he missed it. That was crucial.
Oops, that's a big mistake, and potentially cost him the game now, as GoOdy has this chokehold position. And a big drop coming now from Strelok at the bottom. We have 2 medivacs full of Marines. Going to be looking for some kind of opening, but the Hellion with the Xel'Naga Tower does spot it.
Yeah, GoOdy is well aware of this, and GoOdy's defense is always really solid against drops, honestly. So we'll see. Admittedly, he hasn't actually moved out to really deal with that. He's committing all of his forces to the front, and that's an absurd number of Hellions. I mean, it's 20 in total, plus 1 weapon upgrade coming up as well, which will really benefit everything he has. Now Strelok decides he's going to drop a little bit outside of the base, and he eliminates that early Blue Flame Hellion. The thing is, I mean, a few Hellions coming out of that will easily clean this up without a problem, but Strelok is going for it nonetheless, and GoOdy is lacking defense, and this is not good for him at all. Losing a huge amount right here, unnecessarily.
Yeah, +1 Marines making short work of SCVs. Tank in good position though. I'm surprised that Strelok's actually made a Ghost Academy. I don't know if he's going to try to do some defensive or aggressive nukes.
Nuke would make sense.
Yeah,
I mean, how else would you get rid of GoOdy? I mean, GoOdy's not going to move unless he's forced to. So a nuke would force a rollout of those tanks.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he does decide to do with that. He is getting a 4th base up though for Strelok, which is going to help his economy even further. Even though he's been contained by GoOdy, he does have the better economy though. 49 SCVs versus 45. Did drop the economy when he walked the Cha-Cha line of Marines. I mean, Cha-Cha line of SCVs into the tank line, which was not good. But that drop really helped out, and another big drop coming from the south location now for Strelok here, full of Marines.
Strelok is bringing out his nuclear vessels right here. Yes, his nuclear vessels. He's got a single nuke on the way out, which will be crucial for trying to displace GoOdy. That will be the intended purpose of it. He doesn't think he's going to get kills with it, but he reckons he can displace GoOdy, and that's vital because Strelok will need some more map control in order to get back into this.
And this Marine little army is going to go down and could potentially very well kill this expansion here if GoOdy doesn't react.
Yeah, and GoOdy is put out of position. Hellions are required in order to deal with this. That expansion's going down. I don't think there's any question about that. GoOdy throwing that one away. And wow, that actually forced GoOdy to pull everything back.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, there's no ghosts out, so he didn't threaten with a nuke. It was just that a little harassment there pushed him back. The Viking count, though, is very high for Strelok, actually. That's most likely why he pushed him back, as the siege tanks get in larger range. Hellions are going to come clean up all these Marines, though. With Blue Flame, they are going to be able to clean this up kind of fast.
Yep, he's not too worried about that one. In he goes for some barbecue action. And, of course, Strelok will not be able to stand up against firepower like that. Yes, that is delicious. So this nuke, we're still waiting to see what actually happens with it. He doesn't have a ghost yet, so he can't fire it from anything. Strelok, that is a drop and a half right here from Strelok. That's a lot of tanks, a lot of Marines coming in, very highly mobile force, and of course completely avoiding this tank line in the middle. Yeah,
I mean, there's no way he can combat this +1 tank line of goodies in the middle of the map. So what's he do? Drops, and most likely going to drop nice scan here by Strelok. Sees the base, definitely going to drop on the high ground here and start raining down damage on this mineral line.
Yeah, certainly can't see why not. It will work as well because GoOdy is unaware. He just got a little bit of scouting information right there. Single siege tank. This is actually an infantry play. Strelok splitting his drop force up, and if he's able to clear those missile turrets before the medivacs go down, this will be absolutely fantastic. He's tanking a lot of the missile damage on those Vikings, so that's great play. And now with a full tank deployment in the base of GoOdy, not ideal.
Yeah, supply depots going down, production going down, and awesome drop there by Strelok. Really changing this game around. 180 food for Strelok, and now a supply cap to 190 food for GoOdy at the moment. And he's going to have to slowly push to try to clean this out.
Well, GoOdy slow pushes are the things of legend. He does have 5. That is 5 Thors bashing their way through right there. And he certainly took a lot of damage there. I don't think anyone's really going to dispute that. But still, he ended up supply blocked. He is actually still supply blocked. He's not building anything to deal with that. But he defends it, and GoOdy is nowhere near out of this game yet.
No, not yet, but his economy is pretty bad. We have Marines on the right-hand side denying SCVs, denying another expansion. So the harassment here by Strelok throughout the game has been absolutely incredible, second to none. And the SCVs are slowly killing off these Marines, but there are a lot more Marines slightly south if Strelok move them down. Yeah, we do see them move down, and GoOdy pushing through that north channel, kills the rocks, is going to kill the north rocks up here again. And we'll be able to get a nice position on this base off Strelok up here.
You know what I don't get? The fact that GoOdy has a force of 20 Hellions and is not using them as a rapid response force to Marine drops. Why would you not do that? It seems like exactly the kind of thing you want to do.
I don't know. I mean, he's got all these Hellions in the middle of the map trying to hold the position and doesn't really want to move them out from there. But now this drop's going to be pretty big. It looks like Strelok's actually going to drop somewhere else. He's like not even... He might drop on top of the army here. I mean, there are a couple of Thors, but they're not going to kill medivacs very fast.
It's a possibility. Those Thors are vulnerable, potentially, to... That's a lot of tanks in that force as well. There's at least 4, possibly 4 in that force. He looks for the redeployment. He's not willing to go in. Of course, the Vikings melt under the firepower of the Thors, which is to be expected. But, yeah, that was a gutsy move, and it actually did serve its purpose. It pushed GoOdy back. GoOdy is not able to threaten that 4th base anymore.
No, he just needs, if he wants to keep it safe, he needs to just put a few siege tanks on the high ground, and he should be good. The problem for Strelok, though, is this army in the middle of the map. It's almost uncrackable at the moment. I guess you could try to drop on it since there's not too many turrets or Thors, but it's still going to be hard to do. And Meanwhile, GoOdy finally stabilizing with his economy. Looking at the SV count, though, still pretty low, 41 to 57, that he has finally got up this base and can start mining gas.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what this nuke actually ends up doing. It's been sitting in his bank the entire game. He does have 2 ghosts available, so there's nothing really stopping him from dropping it on top of GoOdy's middle barricade right here. And GoOdy has had this 3rd denied for a very long time. He has taken it, though. It would actually be his 4th, considering he's grabbed this one here. So economically, he's in pretty good shape.
Indeed, and now Strelok is going to move across this north highway line and is going to try and get position. Does not want GoOdy to take this base here.
Big shelling though.
Yeah,
I mean, look at that. He's got multi-tiered tanks right now, and Strelok's going to have to throw away a huge amount of units to actually break this. And this is exactly what GoOdy likes to do. He prefers you to charge into his tank line, and he's doing a huge job. The nuke is finally coming down, and it's actually coming down on this force of Thors right here. He's delayed this for a very long time. However, GoOdy sees it coming. He's able to move away, and Strelok gains some crucial maneuverability and ground advantage there.
Yeah, definitely getting a nice position now above that base, and GoOdy forced to pick it up and move it to a different location. Once again, the continued harassment by Strelok really proving vital in this game. 4 Marines moving down, 1 Hellion though to defy the odds.
37 SCVs, however. I mean, really, 37 SCVs. That is not a great situation for anybody to be in this matchup. Another nuke on the way. These 3 Marines still cleaning up, finally forcing the Hellions to move out. But still, as I say, I don't agree with what GoOdy was doing with his Hellions this game. I mean, really, he's been having them sitting around doing nothing, and it's proved to be extremely problematic. Strelok is eventually now grinding him down in this TVT with repeated drops, and so many of those drops could be prevented by rapid response with Hellions. Yeah,
definitely. And Strelok has the potential ability to go ahead and take this north base too. These tanks are in great location. It's very safe. And we'll have to see what GoOdy can do. A big drop, though, is going to be coming from the main base of Strelok here. 4 medivacs full of units. And he's definitely going to try to get some lockdown in the north. Location. Well, not north, really. This east location down here.
Yeah, and it's not well guarded either. I mean, it's a few Hellions, but there are tanks in that drop, so really those Hellions aren't going to be able to do too much, especially if he drops the tanks first and doesn't just throw the Marines in for the slaughter right there. GoOdy is bleeding quite badly, which is not what you really want, and he will lose 1 medevac, but still, tanks are down, he'll clear up those Hellions nice and easy, and now if he deals with that, oh, that was unfortunate, Strelok throwing away a dropship right there, but never mind, and denying this base down to the bottom right here. So, Strelok actually is starting to get the stranglehold on GoOdy right now, and you see this tank force has been sitting here all game doing nothing.
Yep, it's holding position in the middle, but who cares when you can go down the flanks all game. And now this force has been cleaned up. GoOdy will be able to defend the lower base, but has lost that top base, and it's now been rained with siege tanks. Could even potentially lose it.
That would be unpleasant, but I think there's enough Thors to clean that up without too much of a problem. Ramming their way through there, he's taking a big damage from those siege tanks, but he's able to tank it, no problem at all. And right now, GoOdy's still just doing pretty much nothing, playing a very passive game, which is to be expected from GoOdy, but he can't keep this up, surely.
3 Marauders now dropped on that base in the bottom right. Are going to stim in, kill the mule, possibly kill a tank too. Oh, nice tank pick off. And the medevac backup is not too far away, but Strelok decides to move out with these 2 medevacs back to the main army. And look at that main army now. It is getting big. There's a lot of tanks now in the middle of the map for Strelok.
Yeah, the count is currently 17 tanks for GoOdy and 25 for Strelok. So you can also look at the upgrade count, and you actually notice that Strelok hasn't upgraded at all. It's +1/+1 for GoOdy, who he hasn't got into any others, which is actually kind of surprising. He has so much gas. Surely he could invest in some upgrades. Yeah,
I mean, definitely could be, but I guess he's trying to spend all his resources into tanks. Does not really want to fall behind in units, because he already has the upgrade advantage at 1-1 versus 0-0, so I guess he doesn't really want to push that too far. Needs more units. And as predicted, Strelok is going to go ahead and take the north location. No reason not to. He's got full control there. 2 medevacs full of units. Most likely going to drop on top of these siege tanks.
If he's got any sense, he certainly will. And there's the drop. A nice cleanup will no doubt happen. Marauders in there. Big firepower coming down. 1 tank, 2 tank, and the 3rd. And Thor's going to have to try and hold him against this drop. And without repairs, I don't know, actually, he does have more tanks. Another nuke to try and displace a single tank by the looks of it. And possibly catch some Hellions out of position. He needs to be very, very careful right here. Oh, he takes the ghost out. There you go. Nicely played. GoOdy charging into a tank line with Hellions.
There's your use of Hellions, Total Biscuit.
Well, yes, that wasn't quite what I was looking for, but there you go. GoOdy is currently building 5 tanks simultaneously because he's GoOdy, but still, Strelok is able to hold in that base with a couple more tanks, and the Thor goes down as well.
You know, I don't quite understand. He's dealing with all this harassment throughout the entire game. Why doesn't he just use all these Hellions, unsiege in the middle of the map, and just push forward? And this would be a great time, as Strelok has all his units. Oh my god, that is a big siege tank.
Wow, conga line, folks. It is a cargo train of siege tanks moving along the top of the map. As I said, this is a perfect opportunity. GoOdy could go in and do massive damage, but he's not going to do that. He's going to respond to it with Thors, which of course is going to take about 3 years to get back there. A single Hellion doesn't hold, needless to say.
And now he's pushing through. If he gets in here and gets position on all this production, there's basically nothing that GoOdy can do from now.
No, he's going to get devastated if that actually happens. A lot of production coming in, but once that deployment comes up here from Strelok, GoOdy still, he actually on siege there and then decided no, he doesn't want to do it. So he's moving the Thors in, but this entire base is gone. It's getting gutted right now. Look at the number of these coming down. He actually drops a mule in the middle right there just to try and do a little bit of damage, but still, so many tanks.
Yeah, I mean, he's split up his forces a little bit, pulled back a few extra tanks to help defend, and he knows if he unsieges in the middle and pulls back everything, then the entire map is Strelok's. So Strelok's going to take this surely now. So much damage is going on, and GoOdy down to 150 food versus 176, still kind of close, but there's so much just dead supply in the middle of the map with these tanks.
Yeah, that's the thing really, isn't it? It's like if you don't do anything with these tanks, then what is the point of them even being there? But as you said, yes, you could very easily concede that. Oh my god, the south position has been taken by Strelok as well, and that orbital command will burn to the ground by the looks of it. Tank warfare in the middle of GoOdy's bases, production facilities get taken out, at least 3, possibly now 4 factories going down. That one's on fire. This CC is probably not going to escape, if I'm totally honest, and GoOdy continues stoically remaining in the middle of the map.
Indeed, and Choke is now with Strelok versus GoOdy. He's got this awesome position. Every map, every base location is basically his, and it looks like he's going to move down the bottom flank now, take out these rocks, and basically walk into GoOdy's base down here, which he's trying to remake. And I think that could be the end of the game as soon as GoOdy realizes, all right, you spread me out everywhere in this game. I cannot defend all these locations.
Yeah, really, it does come down to the fact that there's a standoff in the middle and GoOdy is unable to do anything with those tanks. GG, ladies and gentlemen. GoOdy's stamina game, yes. Now you've seen it.
Now you've seen it, now you believe it.
Yep, it's a long, long game there with GoOdy, which is to be expected, but regardless, Strelok takes the first game in this best of 3 series, and again, I really don't like the Hellion use in that game. I just don't. I just think there were so many opportunities to really do some good cleanups against drops with those Hellions, and sitting in the middle of that with those Hellions didn't help anybody.
And I absolutely loved, personally for me, the strategical use of the tanks and positions from Strelok throughout the game. Even though he was contained, he manages to hold his third base, surprisingly, with the lift up of tanks onto the higher ground, and then didn't even bother trying to attack and try to crush the middle attack of units. The clump of GoOdy's units, he just attacked from the flanks. The entire game just drops Marines, tanks pushing through, and manages to almost pincer crush GoOdy there.
Strelok drops, man. You can't do anything against that kind of tank aggression. There's so much, and mobile tanks I think are highly underrated, and Strelok uses them perhaps better than anybody else with the drop capacity. It's very, very nice play. So GoOdy on the back foot going into the second map of this best of 3 series. We'll see if he can pull it back. You'll find out in just a moment, folks. This is the IGN Pro League Season 2, as cast by myself, Tom Liskin, and the one and only Mr. D Apollo.